Hey, it's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a score, and and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash. What do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jewball.
This is TBI 3 balls in. It is PJ's alongside Logan and Davo. We are live together in the basement of Davo's. No, we are not locked up. We are safe. We are fine. We are hosting TBI live together in person. Boys, this is a first for all 3 of us.
First of many, I hope. And I hope we have a great show.
I mean, the irony is this is the 3 of ours first time down here. Davo has never been down here either. So this is exciting for him as it is for us. But yeah, this is gonna be a fun show. I'm excited.
I'm just happy you can tell your wife you have friends. That's it.
Oh.
All right. Guys, there was a lot of football today. A lot of football. 2 games in 2 fields. You got your 2 fields. Well, it didn't go as planned, obviously, but 2 games, 2 fields to start at 8 o'clock. And then at 9:45, you had another game, 3 games in total. Let's talk about these games. Davo, your game started. You had Perla versus Zinn, the rookie quarterbacks. Let's talk about it.
Great intro. Thank you. That just about sums up the game.
So hold on a second. The only awkward piece about us being together is that when you say something funny, he has to actually look at me for me to start laughing. It's not like we could we don't actually have like a little chat going on or like a little, he'll look at me in Zoom. Like, no, he'll literally look to his left and be like, did you hear what Davo just said?
All right. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Let's get this done. Davo, game 1. Let's go.
Let's go, Davo.
Okay, so game 1. Obviously, I came in a little bit late because I replaced Tabak. I came in, the game was 1-0. I don't even remember. It was so long ago at this point. But I'm just going to summarize it. Zinn threw a couple to Mighty, who makes unbelievable play stills. We hit me for a touchdown to tie it up at 2. We went to overtime. This was my first time playing in the new college Jewball overtime rules. Not sure how I felt exactly about it. I mean, we'll get you guys.
He's on the fence already. I love it. We're 2 minutes into the show. He's on the fence.
That's how we do. But Waldo with a big catch, with a great throw, probably Pearl's best throw I've ever seen. Great catch by Waldo. And I think it was just Waldo OT because on the ensuing drive, he picks them off in the end zone to end the game. Great way to seal it. Great game by Waldo. He had 2 touchdowns and a pick. I think he's going to get the Jewball for that one. And it's just interesting to see how good Zinn is at just anything. The guy's like running and he flicks a 30-yard pass to Mighty. And it just, he's a force of Jewball. I think by far, I can't even say by far because you have the quarterback Dax Surly, who's probably the best quarterback in Jewball right now. So you have both of them fighting for Rookie of the Year. And I think it's a great race. Look, they're both top of the power rankings. And I think it's a great race. And I think Jewball's entering this new era and we're in good hands going forward.
Davo, I don't disagree with you that they are leading the charge for Rookie of the Year. I do disagree when you say that Dax is the best quarterback in Jewball right now, but we don't have to get necessarily into that.
Well, let's actually get into that right now because game 1A, the game starts like this. In Lawrence High School, Lawrence Field, Dax picks off your own on the second pass. Beast, by the way,
at Lawrence High School.
At Lawrence High School, the game started there, and then had to move back to Hewlett.
So hold on one second. Even before we get into that, this might have been the purest Jewball game we've seen in years.
Exactly.
Right? Like a game where we played in one field and got kicked off.
And getting kicked off for a legitimate soccer game. They get kicked off for football, but legitimate
a permit held
soccer game.
By the way, the soccer guy literally sabotaged us. He's like, yeah, don't worry, we're done. Didn't tell anything about this guy with a permit.
He's just saying, listen, we all trusted Could on that one. There you go. So here we are. We're moving at 8:20, but at that point, Dax had already picked off your own in the second pass. We should have had on the first pass. And then he throws a touchdown to Munch And then we got to move the game to Hewlett. And you think things are going to get better for your own, and they don't. Dax was incredible. He had 2 picks on the game. He threw 3 touchdowns, ran one in.
I know he did throw 4, but one was called back.
Okay, but either way, again. Maybe he did throw a pick himself. Maybe he's not the best quarterback yet, but statistically speaking, right now, he's off the charts. And our rankings, he's number 2. He might even move to number 1 this week. We'll see as we get into that later in the week. The guy showed me so much that the throws he was making. Again, he has a relationship with his brother. Obviously, they've been playing football for many years together. The throw he hits at one point in this game, it's the most beautiful pass that I've seen a quarterback in Jewball make, maybe since Marino. And that says a lot. And Yaron can throw the ball 70 yards. That's taking anything away from Yaron. Yaron's probably got the best, purest arm in football, in Jewball football. But just seeing the way Dax threw today, I mean, Praise had moments, Fights had a few moments. I'm just starstruck by Dax, or maybe it's just because it's new and we have 2 quarterbacks hurt. I was very impressed today. And again, the game really came down to Munch disrupting Yaron's game, and the game came down to Dax just being really good.
No, it's good. Look, I didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer on Dax. That was not the point of my comment. The point of my comment is we have 2 or 3 really good quarterbacks, and we have a quarterback on the IR. Like, let's just pump the brakes a little bit before we start saying who's the best quarterback at Jewball.
Right.
That's all. That's all. It's not a knock on Dax. I played with him. He plays great. I've seen him Tuesday night. He looks good Tuesday night too. Like, again, but let's wait. Let's let this season at least play out. We played, what is this, week 5? 6? So week 6, like we played 6 games. Like that's not even halfway through this season. Like, you know what I mean? Like let's let this season play out. And then, by the way, if at the end of the season he's got the best stats and he is the best, like great, so be it. Let him be Don this year's best quarterback.
Well, let's talk about a quarterback who's started also rookie this year. I mean, you had in your game was the feature of 2 rookie quarterbacks going head to head. It's Zen, who I think is really more. I think personally, I'd rather see Zen as a receiver than a quarterback. And that's not because he's not a good quarterback. That's just because he can do, like we saw today in the NFL, the catch that Justin Jefferson made. That's the type of Zen we could see also. So again, I don't want to take Zen away from those abilities to do that. But the question is Perla. You're in the game with Perla, game 2 against Yaron. Totally different story for Yaron. It's almost like Jekyll and Hyde, right, with Yaron. Yaron struggled game 1. Game 2 was a different story. Logan, get us into game 2.
So I've been, let's call it, critical of Perla. I've been critical of White Goodman, and he didn't have a great game today. His team didn't help him out. We had a couple of drops, myself included, and we'll own that. But he did not. I would say he didn't play his best game. But I've got a new approach. To White Goodman. I think that he needs to be given time to understand his receivers. And I think that a lot of his struggles, not all, there's a couple of things that we see with the balls that he's throwing and things like that. Not all of his struggles are because he's unfamiliar, but a lot of them are unfamiliar. I'm going to go with a stance right now. I'm going to say, let's give him a year. Let's give him or a full season, whatever you want to call it. Let him get, I don't know, 10, 12, 15, however many games he can get under his belt. And at the end of the year, similar to Dax, that we're not going to crown him Jewball king of the quarterbacks just yet. I'm not ready to throw Perla out just yet. However, after a year, if he still can't figure it out and he still can't get it going, then he's dead to me.
So I think there's but here's the thing with
that
Perla.
was out fast.
No, but here's the thing with Perla. There are a lot of guys who have not played with him yet because he's played, I think, mostly in the second game. This was his first time playing the early game. And by the way, we also have to show appreciation to the guy because he did play 2 games today. He took it like a champ. He tried his best. Listen, he won 1, he lost 1. You might argue and say that because he had that connection to Waldo, maybe he's got a receiver like Waldo that he feels comfortable with. You don't know. Again, the knock on him is that he doesn't throw the ball more than 15 yards. So that is obviously
except for Waldo's touchdown, by the way, which I saw, it was more than 15 yards.
So that's his knock, right? So maybe it's getting comfortable with certain receivers. The randomizer, maybe do a little less randomizing, get him receivers he might be comfortable with, because it seems like the randomizer gives Dax's brother a lot. Why not give Perla receivers he's comfortable with? And then we can see whether he is a potential 5th quarterback.
Yeah, can we stop doing that, by the way?
What, randomizing?
No, can we stop having double dacks versus everyone else? Like, seriously, like we get it. You draft each other, you play with each other a lot. It's great, it's cute, it's funny, whatever. But like, come on, let's let them play against each other for a little bit. Did I say that out loud?
Singer and Snow are sitting there right now, twirling their fingers, like, well, we never did that back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, like I came from a game in Queens where Hilton, Evan's father, literally had Evan and David on his team every single week. And like it like let's do this.
By the way, timeout. We are allowed to mention Evan, just letting you know. But our Evan quota just ended. So
but yeah, anyway, randomizer, random again, random more. But yeah, no. So anyway, so as far as Perla goes, I'm willing to give him a year and see where it goes. That being said, I understand how teammates on Dark for the second game were frustrated. The game didn't go how we wanted. But part of it, by the way, is our defense. We had a little bit of a soft defense. I don't know if people were injured or people's heads weren't in the game, or maybe guys played two and they couldn't. But I would say a couple of guys didn't have their heads on our team, and that's our fault, right? We got to get our own heads. We got to get out of our own way. But like we didn't play great defense either. So even though Perla didn't have a great game two, a lot of it rested on the defense.
Listen, I'll say this about game two and Perla in particular. It's rough for him to play two games. I think I don't think he's in it yet, and I think he's not to say making a sacrifice, but he's taking a step up for Jewball and playing quarterback, because right now we need it. We need someone to throw the ball.
Appreciate that. Zin could have played two games.
Okay, you have an injured Prey. You have a Fight who's injured also, who's not as consistent playing week to week. I
appreciate him stepping up.
You may not be happy with the results, but the reality is it's not like the game was zeros. It's not like he put up zeros.
We put up one.
Again, not great.
But hold on a second. But what I would say is as bad of a game as our Dark team played, and it was a full team loss, as bad as we played, and this is not a knock on some of the other guys, like Pearl is still a real quarterback. This wasn't a fill-in like some of the other non-quarterbacks who played quarterback. It wasn't that.
But what is interesting is that if you look at his other look, he's 2-2 as a Jewball quarterback right now. He's thrown 10 touchdowns in 4 games. That's not like terrible.
Chad Pennington was a quarterback in the NFL who couldn't throw the ball more than 30 yards, and he lasted a decade.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, but like,
yeah, I think we've gotten used to, and people are going to be shocked when I do this. We've gotten used to great quarterbacks like Yaron, great quarterbacks now like Dax, like Prey, Fight when he has his great moments. Fight has been looked really good.
Gronk.
So, well,
it's also true.
We also we miss Gronk. We need more Gronk.
We can talk about Gronk later.
We need more Gronk. All right, let's transition there. We talked about today enough. Obviously, a lot of guys played today. Everybody wanted to talk about today. Munch was amazing today. Dax was amazing today. I think in your game, Waldo, we already said, was great today. Mike
Yaron had a good game in the second.
Yaron had a great second game. So a lot of guys really stepped up, played really well. Let's talk about this week, because we got league week number 2. Super exciting stuff. You've got the Roll Tide versus Bop, and you've got the Fight Club. No, you got the Top Guns going up against the Lionhearts. Now let's talk about Bop versus Roll Tide. Dax versus who? That's the question. So I'm going to pose it to my friends here, my co-hosts. Who should quarter this week for the Birds of Prey? Should they make a phone call to a Mr. Gronk who played in League Week number 1 and led them to victory against your Top Guns? Or should they look inside the team for a quarterback? I'll start with Logan. What is your thoughts on Bob's quarterback situation?
Look, we had a draft for a reason, and we literally were only allowed to bring 8 guys to the first game. 8 of our own guys to the first game.
No, it's 9.
Much to both of our chagrin.
Me too.
For another team to then be able to take someone who's not on the roster. Let me throw another scenario out there. Let's say something happens to Zin.
Oh God! What?
No, not like injury, but like let's say he can't make it to a league game.
Okay,
the scooter broke down.
So right, he's got scooter problems.
He had to go to Minion.
Right. Roche Stavane, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Does that mean they could go then to their Tuesday night league and grab one of the best wide receivers out there and have them come play for our game? I understand that the quarterback's important, but like at the end of the day, the regular season doesn't matter. So like what
You're saying everybody makes the playoffs.
everyone makes the playoffs. So like seeding shouldn't matter. Someone got hurt. And by the way, to no fault, but like things happen, right? Like everyone gets banged up. That's part of having a deep roster. MK has offered to play quarterback. There are other players on the team that you could probably figure something else out. Will it be the most compelling game? Will it be the most competitive game? No, but Prey will be back. So no, I think
so here's my
your
question.
team should play your team.
So here's my question to you. What if Prey doesn't come back? Then what? So now you're talking about that you need a replacement for the whole season.
Sucks for their team. Like that. Okay. Like what if Josh Allen really got hurt and he couldn't play for the rest of the season? Sucks for the Bills. Like,
but he'll have the same team next year. This is a different story because
I understand what you're saying and it sucks and it's a season loss, but like at the end of the day, you wouldn't do it for any other player.
Is your argument that Gronk is not in the league, so he's considered outside the league, or is your argument because we're looking outside of Jewball? Because I'm not.
He's looking outside of. They're looking outside of Birds of Prey.
Outside of Birds of Prey. So you're saying anyone, whether they're within Jewball, they just didn't sign up like a Clink who's not in the leagues this year, or looking into Tuesday night, or you call Jay Fiedler, the former Dolphin quarterback. He asked if he wants to come out of retirement and play Jewball. Which I did try to do that, by the way. Jay Fiedler. You don't know Jay Fiedler.
I know Jay Fiedler.
But you
called Jay Fiedler.
I didn't call him, but I tried.
I thought you like nicknaming someone. I'm like,
no, Jay Fiedler is real.
We had a Marino, so maybe we have a Jay Fiedler. Who knows?
I tried to figure it out. Why not?
Again,
I had a better shot at Mark Sanchez.
I think we at least at a minimum keep the regular season to the teams. There's plenty of guys who want to play. Keep the regular season to the teams. If come the playoffs and we want to discuss playoffs, okay, I get that. But for the regular season, at a minimum, let's keep it.
So are you saying that Bop's first win is tainted because Gronk was their quarterback?
I would say there's a lot of taint going around Bop.
Everybody.
And Solo's not with your road this year, and he's still a lot of taint going on. I love it. I completely disagree with you. First of all, I think the fact that we got Gronk back in a game is huge. He played in a regular season game, then he played in a league week game. I think if you have the option of a guy like Gronk to play, why wouldn't you? He won the freaking championship last year. I mean, we've seen the guy went from a guy who we nicknamed him Gronk because he looked like the tight end Gronk. He played like...
Did he? He looks like Stafford, doesn't he?
Well, no. I meant looked in terms of like size and the fact that he doesn't look like he cares and mannerisms and whatever. But I'm saying,
Gronk cares. About partying and drinking.
So the point is that you have someone like Gronk who is phenomenal at what he does. It led his team to a championship, has familiarity with a lot of the guys in the team. Why wouldn't you want a guy like that on your team? And you're saying, listen,
well, we're not sure if he's available also.
Regardless of whether he's available or not, if you have the option for a guy like Gronk, why would you be stupid enough not to?
Because he's not on the team. Like, look, if Gronk wants to play every other week besides league week, great. I would love to line up with him. But like, what if Gronk's available? Let's say Prey wasn't hurt and Gronk was available. Could you just pick him up to play tight end? No, you couldn't, right? Like,
so what if the rationale is? So here's my question: is the rationale that people feel like it's a disadvantage having Gronk because he's not
disadvantage? I would say he's probably as good or better than Prey, but I don't care about the advantage disadvantage. Let's say he was a worse quarterback.
Okay.
Like let's say it was Perla. I also don't think it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
So you're saying because Bop is Bop, just like an NFL team, if your quarterback goes down, whoever's on the roster, that's who you pick up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I disagree.
With both of us? Because that would be perfect.
No, I do actually. I feel that Bop should find one replacement. Whoever it is. If it's Gronk, it's Gronk. If it's Perla, it's Perla. If it's a trade for Ernie or Rabin, or if Snow can come back, whoever it is, pick one guy and that's it. Because think about it, if you were on that team, you obviously you played with a good team last year. You played with Gronk in the league. If you imagine if you had to play with MK every game, why would you want to show up? Why would you play hard? It killed play. And again, it's not like a diss to MK or whomever. That's not a real quarterback playing quarterback.
MK threw a touchdown in one of his two drives in the game against Top Guns.
I mean, they started at the 3, but we're not going to talk about it.
He still threw a touchdown to Goldberg against a really good defense.
But what I'm saying
Singer Mighty. I mean, come on, but it's not.
But
Jack Munch.
What I'm saying is, like, listen, we've all played in games with not real QBs. It's not fun.
I understand that, but like
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree.
regular season, I agree with you for a regular Jewball week. You want it to be fun and you want
Okay,
it to be competitive.
but again,
like,
but
last year, Fight's team wasn't competitive, and we didn't just give them players.
All right, hypothetically,
Fight got hurt, and who did they get?
They got Flash, and it was even worse for them. And by the way, it didn't work out well.
Okay, but imagine if they were able to pick up a Gronk. It would have been a different team.
2 years ago, Yaron picked up Flash in the playoff game. Right, Flash was not in the original 193 roster, which is crazy when you think about it. And it helped them win. And he helped them get to the championship game. Nobody stopped him then. So now,
we evolve and we become better. Right?
Yeah,
like,
your own cheats. We know this. We know your own still cheats to this day. But I think that they should be able to pick one guy, even if it's a guy like Flash. Let him just take it and let him just be the QB, whomever it is. Let him take it and let him be the QB. But that's it. That's who they get to pick, and that's every week. And if this guy can't play, then you have to figure out going forward. You can't switch your QB every week. Maybe this guy has to move. Maybe this guy has to be there. But let's actually get into the game. What are we thinking? Obviously your Bob, so we'll lead you out. So I'm gonna talk straight to Logan. If they have a guy like MK or Tom QB, do they have a shot? I mean, look, you saw what Dax did against Yaron. He put up, 35 points, I thought it was.
Look, here's how I see it. I mean,
who's going to stop Zinn? Dax.
Look, I mean,
they have a great line of legs and open legs.
I think at a minimum, Dax is going to put up 4 scores. So do you think that another quarterback not named Gronk could put up 4 scores? That's the question. I think the answer is probably no. In which case, I think Roll Tide is going to move to 1-1, but who knows? If you've got someone else who can, I think it's a minimum. Dax Roll Tide puts up 4 scores.
Minimum. All right, so give me a prediction with a QB or with whomever they have on the team right now. If they get a QB, if they get a guy like Gronk or even a Perla or whatever, do they have a shot?
I think if they get Gronk, I think they have a shot. It'll be a fun game to watch. I think if it's just about anyone else, and that's not a knock on anyone else, but like Gronk brings a lot on defense as well. I think if it's anyone else, it's not going to be as fun to watch.
I agree with you, and I know it's bad TV, but I think Roll Tide rolls over Bop. I think it's probably even more than 4 scores.
Here's an even better question. Forget about who wins. Does PJ play?
Probably not. Probably not even the roster. Anyway, that's not an insult to myself, right?
No, not at all.
You got twins.
Right. Twins, Basil. Twins.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's got to be some reason why I don't play. No, I mean, listen, I think...
listen, you're undefeated in leagues. Just think about that. Especially in the playoffs when you're on the field.
That is true. Listen, I think Roll Tide is a really good team. I think Bop has a good shot of keeping it close. I don't think it's going to be the blowout you say, regardless who quarterback is. I think so, but the problem with Bop is Solo's not going to be there. So I think the fact that Solo's not in this game, it's the next man up. It's the next man up. But you're talking about no Prey and no Solo.
That's literally your first pick and the guy who picked the first pick.
And you talk about Prime.
And
then you talk about Prime, Goldberg, Steve-O, and PJs.
Look, those are all good players. Don't get me wrong.
But all having babies at home, newborn babies. So sleep might be a commodity at this point for everybody. At least for me, it is.
Pipe dream, more like it.
Again, I don't even know if I'm in the game, but
that's
regardless of that. I listen. At the end of the day, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think regardless, it's a close game. These games are Bob's got a lot of talent. Obviously, so does Roll Tide. I just think that Roll Tide may not have the. Again, they're still new to Jewball, so I still want to give them a little bit of time before I'm going to crown them with a blowout win. So I think probably Roll Tide keeps it close, 3-2. I think it's real, and not such a high scoring game as you guys had said. All right, let's move into your game. Top Guns versus obviously the Lionhearts, Yaron against Fight. Big game. We're talking about Irv. We're talking about Singer. We're talking about Mighty. We're talking about Zada. We're talking about Munch. We're talking about DK. There's so many names, so many big talents. Sting. I mean, you're talking about Storm,
Logan.
There's so many people in this game. Jordan, Davo if he's on the roster, Logan if he's on the roster. So here we go. Let's talk about it. my personal opinion, the Lionhearts come away with the win, and they drop the Top Guns to 0-2, but not in any type of fashion of a blowout. To me, it's going to be a very, very much a high-scoring game where it's 5-4 Yaron. I think that Yaron just gets that last touchdown to either to Irv or to Zada to take them over the top to win. It's a game where I think Yaron's going to be uncomfortable, like Munch did to him today. He'll be uncomfortable, but I think he'll figure out a way to motion his offense in a way. DK, by the way, struggled against Munch today, but I think he'll figure that out for next week. I can see a 5-4 win, only because I think with all the mouths that Fight has to feed, it could be a lot unless you are really good at getting the ball out fast into the right people.
Well, you have a tale of two Yarons, right? Like just like today, game one he was complete trash, like normal, and you saw he got blown out. He was down on himself, and then comes game two and he's lighting it up. He's touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after competent drive. So it first of all, it comes down to which Yaron you're getting, because again, his first team in game one was more stacked than game two. He had better players for sure.
Okay.
So which Yaron are you getting? Like you said, he had Munch disrupting him tremendously. So that comes into play. Is it the pressure that gets to him a little bit? And then on the other side, you have Fight, who he has the thumb injury. He's coming off. I don't want to say of a decline since the beginning of last season, but he has to get back to that form of that he was in the beginning of last season. So which QBs are you getting for each team? I think will really make the difference. Because again, a bad Yaron kills the team. Just like as a bad Fight would kill their team. So whichever QB can step up and play their best game, I think that team is going to come away. And I just think it's going to be Top Gun. I think we're going to be able to throw so many different things at Yaron because we have so many stacked players that I think it's overwhelming for them.
Davo loves to hate on Yaron. Like PJ's hates Yaron, but Davo loves to hate on Yaron. You remember when we were talking about week one? We just thought like Roll Tide would blow out Lionhearts, and then like
I didn't say that.
No, not you, but this guy. Like he thought Yaron would have a terrible game. Like again,
obviously not going to predict against your team. Obviously,
no. I listen. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game. But I think we just have a little bit more firepower at the end of the day.
Here's what I'll say. This is a big, big, big show me game for Fight.
Oh,
this is a huge show me game for Fight. And I know he's injured, but it's just non-throwing arm. So, like, come on.
Yeah,
this is a game.
And by the way, he's not playing defense in this game.
Right. Exactly.
He's benched himself.
So, like, let's call it what it is. Like, this is a big show me game. The one thing I will go against is this whole idea of too many mouths to feed. That's ridiculous. All it means is that wherever he throws the ball, someone is great. And like the idea that he has to get Mighty X number of receptions, he's got to get Jack X number of receptions, like that's a crazy concept. And I'm not buying into it. Like the idea that he can throw to anyone he wants is to his advantage and not to his disadvantage. Look, it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go with Top Guns because I'm a freaking homer and I think our boys are going to pull it out. And I love our boys, but I don't know what the score is going to be like, but I do think we pull it out. Yaron's going to have a good game, but I still think we pull it out.
All right, guys, we're going to transition now. Obviously, great weeks this week, but I'm going to bring someone into TBI, a first-time guest of TBI, somebody who has really brought his game up. It's none other than Waldo. Waldo went from the scapegoat last week to the GOAT today, getting himself a win in game number one, playing probably the most competitive game we've seen from him in a long time. Interception, touchdown to walk off the field, walk off the game. Waldo, just unmute yourself. Talk to us. What's it like to be the probably the most likely Jewball over game one today?
Yeah, today's game, I felt good today. I don't know. I just felt it. Like there's some weeks I feel, that feeling when you come to football and like you feel in your body, you're settled. Like you're just there. In those games, I feel like things like go, you catch the ball, you tackle well. And then there's some games like last week that I played where I was in my head. Waldo, boy, oh boy, is it a different football game.
I'm pretty sure the difference is hungover versus not hungover, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I try to have a pretty good Saturday night. Like Saturday nights, whenever I know that I'm gonna play football in the morning, I take it pretty easy. Like I try to be.
Look at that. The man is sacrificing for Jewball. I love it. I love it.
Dude, I sacrificed huge. 3 weeks ago, I went to Barcelona for a week, but I changed my flight to make it back for Sunday morning Jewball.
Yeah, we played together that week. No,
what was that?
You and I didn't we? You and I play together that week.
That week.
Yeah, we played against Perla. I think we played against.
Yeah, we played against Perla.
Oh, wait, F. Singer. Seriously, this guy cut short his trip to Barcelona.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
he became international.
I mean, Singer was talking about his trip to Florida that he came back for and then went back to. I mean, like
international travel.
Barcelona. That's a big deal.
And then the next week, I was upstate New York. And again, I came back for Jewball because Jewball's it's a pretty big part of my life.
We love to hear that, man.
And it's a big highlight for me. It's like in a certain way, haven't felt a part of like a community or something in a long time, just because of the nature of life and my journey and all of that. And also, I haven't had like a chance to be competitive since like middle school, I feel. So, my inner child is fucking running all over that field.
By the way, and you get to get interviewed after a game. How about that?
Yeah, super, super grateful. And yeah, today, I don't know, today I was feeling it. Right away in the beginning of the game, when I got that interception where Mighty almost snapped my neck in half. I
got a question. I wasn't there. How the hell did he come even close to your neck?
Well,
what was he on a step stool? What's going on here?
It was a weird. I don't know what happened. It was Zin threw a laser and it just popped up in the air. So I went up. It was like for a jump ball. So I caught it. I don't know if I high pointed it. I tried to or attempted to. But as I was coming down, Mighty just like.
No, look, if you told me
he's the rat.
I know, but like
he's got a sensor to the ball.
Flags around his neck.
No, I understand, but like Waldo's like 6'5", like every other
quarterback
in the NFL is like
he's Mighty Mouse. He can reach any level to get a ball. It's Mighty.
By the way, where are all you guys sitting right now? It looks like a 1970s movie.
We're in the TBI lounge.
And you're our first guest in the TBI lounge. Actually, Logan and I are being kidnapped by Davo. We're not allowed to leave. If you could call the police after the show, please.
I thought I was kidnapped.
Is this a basement in Queens or something? Or
no, we don't go to Queens. We're in the 5 towns.
Yeah.
Tell us, where are you right now?
I just landed in Chicago.
Wow.
Damn, off partying already. Catches the interception for the walk-off and just hops right on the plane.
Yeah, but it's interesting. On the way to the game today, I was driving behind a Thomas Muffins truck. You know those trucks that deliver muffins?
Of course.
And I had a feeling it was a good day for Thomas Perla.
Oh.
Said he's brewing fresh. He's cooking fresh muffins, and I just want to give him a shout out because I was negative of him when he came into the league. I'll be honest.
Wow.
And each week that I've played either with him or against him, he keeps on getting better. And I mean, that last throw, I'll give myself credit. It was a great catch, but he put that in the only place possible.
Right. What I don't think is like what we don't. Jordan had great defense on that play.
And Zin. There was Jordan and Zin.
And I agree with you. That pass was put.
That's a money pass.
And again, a ton of credit to you for coming down with it. But that ball was literally in the only place that only you could get, and no one else was gonna. So it was either you catch it for a touchdown, or it was gonna be dropped. You didn't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Yes, I want to give him some credit for his overall play too. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about. We have league weeks this week. Obviously, you're on the Roll Tide. You're going against my team, I guess, because I'm not technically. I don't know if
you're
I'm
going against the team that PJ sits for.
Correct. The team that I'm on the bench for.
So PJ, remind me, who do you play for?
Team bench.
Team bench.
By the way, bench is like I'm laughing, but seriously, who do you play for?
The birds of prey. The birds of Bob. The birds of prey.
Okay, so you got Gronk as quarterback.
Well, that's something something you'll have to listen to TBI for, which we got into. But we're not sure who the quarterback is going to be this week. But talk to us about your team. What are you most excited about the Roll Tide? Coming off a loss in your first week, obviously you want to get a win now. What are you looking for? I'm not nervous.
I'm not nervous about that first week loss. We just didn't have synchronicity and rhythm going together. I think we're going to be like the greatest show on turf. I'm telling you.
Oh.
Because once we didn't have legs that first game either on the line. Once we have legs and open on that line, and we got Dax receiving, we got Rook receiving. Who else do we got?
Some guy named Scoop.
Ernie. You got Ernie also.
We got Ernie out there. I'll be
Right, I
out
was like,
there.
some guy who may catch with one hand named
Yeah,
Zin.
Zin.
Yeah,
We got.
whatever.
I forgot
He's
what
all right.
Zin. Like
He's all right.
He's okay.
Just Zin's an amazing. I mean, phenomenal receiver. Dax is a phenomenal receiver. There's a lot of good, quick moving players on our team. I'm excited, and I love receiving. It's weird from Dax. That left-handed throw is just something interesting about it.
Whose games elevated the most since last year of the rookies? Is it you or Rook? The Rook. I'm sorry, Rook.
What about Bert and Ernie?
Of the two, between you, because you guys used to get confused a lot, Benji, Bensi, and then we finally got Waldo and Rook. Of the two of you, who do you think's games elevated the most since last year?
So I'm gonna say like this. I thought Rook's play was great last year. Therefore, I'll give myself the credit. No, I'm being honest. I thought Rook was great last year. I think he's underrated. He's great this year. He makes great catches. He made great catches last year. He tackles well. He's rugged, man. That dude does not. He got kicked in the face today or something. He walked over to me before game 2 and he shows me his thumb. It was like 3 inches wide. I was like, dude, you shouldn't be playing in game 2. He just went, you know. So I think his game's getting better. I don't know if I'm excited that I came back from an injury. So, my last play of last season, I broke my collarbone into 2.
Right. It's a hell of a play, by the way.
So
Hell
it
of
feels
a play.
great.
It was a hell of a play. It was a hell of a play.
It was from Gronk, but it feels good to be back. I mean, all the rooks from last year are playing great. I think overall, I mean, just comparing, I've only been around 1 year. It's my second year, but something that everybody talks about, the talent is ridiculous in this league.
Yeah.
All around. And what I'm excited for, and Cootie might tell me settle down Rook, but I'm a little excited to see the new talent take over in a way. And some of the old schoolers are, you know what? They're great. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
I think he's looking at me.
I love it.
He's looking at me.
I love it. Waldo coming in hot.
Well, it's like
coming in hot.
PJ, so you got concussions, just retire already.
That's Rook's coming soon.
I can't wait till like you tune into TBI and it's hosted by like Dax and Zin and Waldo.
And Jordan's son.
And Jack. Right?
Yeah, Jordan's son
Keller.
even got a few games.
It's still empty
yeah?
because he's still a rookie.
Yeah.
You know, you make a great point, though. You make a great point. If the talent is so great, like you're saying, and it is, by the way, it's not me debating that. At some point, people like myself who are not necessarily of that echelon may need to step away or play less or join the old timers game.
Dude, without you, we wouldn't be talking right now.
Stop, let's not do that. It's not you need to play less. It's just you may not be able to contribute as much because there are such great players. It's not
or maybe
not a don't play.
No. I'm saying it's a good.
It's not that you can't contribute. You just don't get passes. It's not your fault.
I mean,
you got
to
passes,
get open, obviously.
If you got
to put
passes,
the
you
talent
catch
into
them.
perspective, Rook was not drafted.
Right.
That's
the thing.
ridiculous.
The team non-draft, by the way, the non-drafted team that I started listing on the chat a few weeks ago. It's an incredible team. If you gave us a quarterback like Gronk, we'd probably knock a lot of these teams off. So just saying, if you gave me Gronk and Rook and Davo and Logan and a bunch of the other players who didn't get drafted, I think we'd have a pretty formidable team.
You have to predict it right now. Who's getting Rookie of the Year this year?
Is that a question?
Yeah. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
That's all good. We'll keep it for the outtakes.
Who do you think's winning Rookie of the Year this year?
Dude, Zin man.
Over Dax, the QB.
Listen, you need Dax, but you know what? Anybody could launch balls to Zin too. So I'm not taking away from Dax. I think Dax is a great quarterback. But Zin, man, I mean, that some of those catches are shit that I didn't see in Jewball at all last year.
I'm with it. I like it.
All right, Bensi, Waldo, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Safe travels, man.
Thank
Come
you
on
guys.
again, please.
Anytime.
You know what I found was amazing about that? Waldo has spent the first part of his life having people find him. And now at Jewball, he's finally found, boys. He's finally found. There it is.
Love it, Logan. Love it.
You can take the dad out of Logan, but you can't take the Logan out of dad.
All right, boys. Our last topic of the week. This is our topic. You ready for this? And then we're gonna end the show for the week. This is something I think we need to talk about because it's about freaking time we do it. Officiating in Jewball.
You want to get dumb?
No, I don't want Jared either. I don't want any of that Tuesday night garbage. It's bad enough we got the Tuesday night rules in Jewball. Let's not bring those Tuesday night referees in. The question is in the extra points. Thanks for reminding me about that. The question is, do we need an official rule book? And I'm not advocating the Jordan Wrights one. I'm not advocating you have someone with a little. Although I could see your own having a little book in his pocket. I'm not advocating for that. The question is, does Jewball need some type of officiating where there's something more like I'll give you an example. There was a small fight in today's game about like 3 balls in, and someone had to say you didn't have 3 balls in, and people had to realize, oh wait, that's Dax goes not quarterback Dax, the other Dax, younger Dax goes, wait, 3 balls is a real thing? Yeah, it actually is a real thing. Besides for being the show TBI,
3 balls out.
Hold on a second. Here's my question. How confused was Dax when he watched like season 1 with the first couple of episodes? It was just the 2 of you, and he's like, "Wait, 3 balls in? I don't get it. Like, what's going on?"
We were just 2 larger testicles.
Okay, this question is coming from the same guy. Like 2 weeks ago, it's like Jewball's selling out, and now he wants a rule book. Stop it. We know the rules. Don't make calls unless you want to get called out, and just play the game how it's supposed to be played, like Mensch.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. Completely agree.
Stop making calls, people.
No, but see, that's ridiculous because there are always going to be people who make calls, and there's always going to be calls that need to be made. The question is,
by the way, I just want Goldberg to stop making calls. He's learned his lesson, and now it's other people. So other people have to learn also.
Don't tell that to Munch today. Goldberg stop making calls, and I love Goldberg. I'm just saying, the calls have to be made. They have to be made.
Flags in the back and like
holding.
Stop it. These are like stupid calls. Come on.
But they're not stupid calls because again, if you want to progress and get better, you can't allow nonsense to happen where you have anything flies. You need to have some type of rule in place so that there is some type of order. Listen, I all I know is in the middle of my game 1, I hear a fight going out, and I think it's Jordan and Mighty fighting, even though they're on the same team. But regardless,
that sounds about right.
I mean, that does sound about right. Regardless, the point is that what on earth is? Why can't we just figure things out where we don't need to resort to losing 5 minutes of a game over a fight?
So here's how I see it. I kind of have not an on the fence perspective, but I do have a hybrid. I think that there does
maybe
need to
he did split from you.
I do think there needs to be a set of rules. For example, I think last week or the week before, someone had made reference to a quarterback who got hit in the head. Anyway,
sorry.
So so someone tried to call like a hit to the head to the quarterback. That's not a thing that we play with.
No.
So I do think there needs to be like a set of either unofficial, official rules that are referenced before the game, right? So we know what we're dealing with.
Right.
But to fucking pull out a rule book during the game, could you be worse? Like, stop it. Like, we know what we play. Someone makes a call, they call it, you respect it, you move on. There's no argument. Like, we should never be arguing.
But we respect calls. We don't respect dumb calls though.
Most of the calls are dumb calls.
Well,
I think that's the problem.
Again, if you think a guy stepped out of bounds and you're just saying, did he step out? And it's not a call, you're just asking. There is a discussion of whether he stepped out or not. You have to look further. And
if you're asking, then keep your mouth shut.
I don't know if that's true.
If you know he stepped out, you can say something. If you're asking, stop. You know the call, you're making it. Like, stop. Like, we're not gonna. We've always said this, right? The quarterback knows when he's gonna get sacked, and so he throws it away. Oh, he's trying to get it. No, you all know. Everyone knows. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, be honest with everyone. Be honest with yourself. It's a game. We play the game. We respect each other. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, if you think that this call happened, not think. You know this call happened. You feel strongly about it. You'll make the call. No one will say anything. We'll move on, and we'll redo the down or replay the play, whatever it is. Like, just let it happen.
We will say something.
Stop. Fine. We'll say something in the chat, but not during the game. I agree with you. Let's not waste time during the game.
I agree. Okay. we just want to make everything better. All right, boys. This was exciting. We got a little drunk. We got a little time together.
Hopefully Dave will let us out.
If you don't hear from us in a few days, just know that we're somewhere hanging in a closet. But this was fun. Again, TBI is progressing just like Jewball's progressing. So live together makes for a better show. Thank you, Davo, for hosting. Davo, what are we?
3 balls in.
And we are now, boys, 3 balls out. Good luck, everybody, this week.
Oh, hello. I'm Big E, and welcome to Big E's Hug of the Week. This week's hug goes out to our fearless leader, Jay. Jay, you had a rough couple games yesterday, but we want to tell you we love you. It's not just because it's a Colts. Jay, you've got Big E's Hug of the Week. Love you, brother.
We're 3 balls in and we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time route.
You ready?
Yeah,
Any outtakes? We need to do some outtakes.
I can't wait.
3 balls out.
What are we?
We're 3
Davo,
balls out.
what?
3 ball
I
out.
love it. You know what my favorite part is?
Munch.
When Davo goes, "What are we?" Because then I know something has gone wrong.
By the way,
It's like,
Morty Dax in the game today because Munch thought he had a touchdown. Well, he did have a touchdown, but it was thought maybe he didn't have a touchdown. And Munch goes, someone goes, he didn't have you have to have 3 balls in. And so Dax goes, wait, that's a real thing.
That's so good.
Oh wait, they should be called 3
That-
ball.
hold on, that
out
has to come up.
takes.
That has to come up in when we're talking about today's games.
Agreed.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of bad calls today.
Oh, well, I was on your side. All right.
No, I agreed with Mighty.
I don't know. What
No, not the hold. The hold was also bad.
All right, let's.
Want to give me a Corona? Just looks like I'm drinking.
You
You want it open?
I mean, a Corona with the cap on.
Yeah, I know. I
Does
got it.
not.
Yeah, I'll have a little bit.
All right, see what.
Yeah, let's open it. We'll do a l'chaim at some point in the show.
Right there. Good. Oh, we got it out of camera.
Boys, ready? You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. Dave, we'll give him our last question before we let him go.
Benzie, great playing with you today.
Other than what price? How much is a pound of eggs?
Oh yeah, I need to text you later about that. But I digress.
Unbelievable.
All edited right now.
Listen, this is
Because I
great
got a day to
content.
do it.
I'm asking Benzie, here's my question. If you had to name a 5th QB this year,
Oh,
oh wow, I'm just like when we're doing it live, at least like I can at least ask my questions in like peace and then without commentary. Now I just get so I'm gonna have to scratch a different
All right,
question.
how about this? Here, I got it. Ben.
Personal.
Here we go. Ben.
We asked me and Logan actually split, but no.
Anyway, but to your point.
No. So I'll start it off.
You realize what he just said? Oh my God.
Okay.
Cheers to that.
This question is coming.
Oh, that was such a good intro too.
So we don't hear him. Is it possible we don't hear him because of this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check.
I will give us 1 second. We're gonna edit this part out. Don't worry about it.
This is part of the.
This is all part of
Hold on,
TBI.
No, he's in.
Try it again. I think it's him.
Wait, are you on mute? No.
No.
Are we good?
Just check the speaker.
Just make sure you're connected on your audio.
Speaker is the built-in.
Yeah. Make sure you connect to your audio.
By the way, I forgot to
which
ask
is an
Waldo, but I heard that there's a rumor saying that quarterback said nobody makes me bleed my own blood when he got punched.
So I know what you're saying.
He's
but
trying-
the fact that you
he's
interrupted
trying-
me for that.
He's trying a White Goodman line.
I know, no, I get it, but like to interrupt me just for that. But anyway,
Sorry.
So-
Gee.
Guns.
But let me ask you one question. This is hypothetical, of course. If you were prey and you knew that you weren't coming back,
Okay, but why are we playing
wait, wait,
hypotheticals here?
would you trade Solo for Zed?
to play quarterback,
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
yeah, I would.
Absolutely not.
I would.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't.
To have
do
a
it.
shot.
I think the whole team would take it.
I think
without if
I think
he's not coming back and they have no quarterback.
Solo's playing right now on such a different level on defense. I wouldn't even take a risk of changing things. I think you could keep things so low in scoring. You figure things out. Maybe you got lucky. You got to pick on the back end with Steve-O or Goldberg. I don't think it's worth it. That's my personal opinion.
I think you need a quarterback.
Okay, but let's talk about.
Let's talk about.
And if Clay does come back, he's got a top receiver.
Let's
Let's
transition. Enjoy your flight and your trip and everything.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a bean joke? No. Chicago's got the bean.
Oh,
Beta New Year bets.
and sign up when Zeta posts the link. And don't forget, your TBI
There's
power
no
ranking.
link this week. It's league weeks.
I know. I'm trying to see if you're paying attention or not. And then, of course, look out for the TBI power rankings on Wednesday. Jordan's recap at some point this week. And, of course, league week number 2. Good luck, everybody. May the best teams win. Have a great week.
What happens? Can you imagine if we didn't get any of that? Could you imagine?
Oh, no.
Did we not leave space?
It didn't record.
Yeah, we did stop.
That's the beauty of